Oh boy! Hacking! Who knew it could be so fun? It's the second movie in the Hugh Jackman one, Swordfish. We're watching Swordfish, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry. It's another episode of Cameron Watches Everything. Hey, good news too on that front. Jack and Coke is back, baby. Jack and Coke, gonna need it for this one. Oh, I should have added more Coke. Hello everybody, thank you for watching. This is another episode of Cameron Watches Movies. I watch a bad movie, or not necessarily a bad movie, I watch a movie from my shelf because I own so many, and I talk about it. I go into it in detail, and we talk about what's it mean for films. We break it down. This is Hugh Jackman month. Last week we did X-Men Origins Wolverine. And this month, this time we are going and looking at the 2001 hacker film, Swordfish. That's right, it's Swordfish. 2001, directed by a man. I should have looked that up earlier. Whatever. It's the same guy who did Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage one. Anyway, this is also produced by Joel Silver. I feel like Joel Silver was trying to kind of get his Matrix on again with this one. After having produced The Matrix, he probably thought like, oh man, I need another movie with a hacker. So this movie, the Warner Brothers logo opens up. It's all digitized. It's all crazy, just like The Matrix. That's how you know you're going to be in for a crazy wild ride of a movie. And I'm probably going to mention The Matrix a lot in this film because there's a lot there, but it's very low rent, low grade. So this is the movie that Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry did like pretty much right after X-Men. There's a lot in this movie. John Travolta's the villain with the beard, the hair, and zoots, and these... Oh, this movie. So, movie opens up, the digitized Warner Brothers logo. You know that thing where it's like, this is a crazy movie because they're doing crazy things to the logo. You don't do that to the company unless you're doing a crazy movie. So that's where we're at. Crazy movie. We open up John Travolta. He's giving a speech. He's talking about Dog Day Afternoon. He says, you know what the problem with Hollywood is? Let me tell you the problem with Hollywood and Hollywood movies, ballsy move to decide to open up your movie talking about the problems with Hollywood and Hollywood films. Then he talks about that they're unrealistic.
You know what the problem with Hollywood is?
Which I'm sure defenders of the movie will say, well, that's the joke. That's the joke, because this is a very unrealistic movie. So the joke is that he's opening up saying, the problem with movies is that they're unrealistic. This is the joke, which is fine. But I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. This is a 4-minute speech. He goes on for 4 minutes about Dog Day Afternoon, giving critiques about what would have made the movie better. And then we meet Hugh Jackman and Don Cheadle, and they're debating him about the movie. And you're like, what's going on? What's happening? I'll tell you what's going on. It's a hostage situation. We are dropped in media res. We are dropped in the middle of what is happening in this film. There's a hostage situation. Hugh Jackman's stuck in this thing. This is after these 4 minutes Dog Day Afternoon talk. And the camera, well, during this whole talk, the camera keeps doing this blur. Let me show you.
Take Dog Day Afternoon, for example.
Let me show you what it keeps doing. Let me show you. This is what it keeps doing. It keeps doing this. Fucking with the focus just over and over again. I don't know why, but that's what it's doing. Let me fix that now. Otherwise, this whole video is going to be blurry as shit. Got it, figured it out. So, it's doing that the whole time. I guess to make it feel like a documentary. The camera never does this throughout the rest of the movie, by the way. There's never any more of these shots. It's only in this opening. I don't know why. I don't know if it's supposed to be because John Travolta is talking about a movie, so therefore we're trying to make it that it's like, oh, this is real life. What, like a documentary? It's doing things. So anyway, so it turns out it's a hostage situation. Hugh Jackman's like, no. There's so much screaming in this opening. The cops are like, I don't give a fuck, and they go and try and get one of the hostages out. They got bombs strapped to them. This thing explodes, takes out the entire block. We get this whole 360 shot around the block. Again, nothing cool like this ever happens in the movie. Cool. And then the little ball comes rolling to Hugh Jackman. Then we cut back to 4 days later. That's right, all of this was future thing. We're gonna get this J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams gets all the credit for this because of Alias. Nah, man, it was Swordfish. And many movies before that. We cut back to 4 days later. There's a man who, if this was an 80s action movie, would be called Eurotrash, trying to get in through the airport. By the way, again, this takes place after 9/11, so airports are pretty strict back then. But, well, you know what? Maybe not. 2001. When did this come out? He tries to go into the airport, but he also tries to go in with what I think is like a fake passport as well. He also tries to go in with a fake passport. Turns out, very bad idea. He gets taken in. That's when we then meet Hugh Jackman. And he's playing golf in a towel on top of his trailer park house, or trailer house. Where's my drink? He's on top of his trailer house, putting balls. He's a wild guy. That's how you know this movie's telling you. He's very unorthodox, is this Hugh Jackman character. Stanley they call him. And that's when, speaking of unorthodox, that's when Halle Berry comes, because she comes up, Halle Berry in a little red dress, eating licorice. She's like, my name's Ginger. And this dress is a butt hugger, is what we can only call it. We can only call this dress a butt hugger. And this camera is oogling the fuck out of Halle Berry. Which is like, it feels like the kind of role you take like when you're early in your career, right? When you're like, it's like, oh, this is one of these early roles. Kind of embarrassing, but hey, you do what you got to do to get that career. I had to take this part. Halle Berry by this time has already done so many movies. She didn't need to do this. Why'd she do this? We might have a reason. We'll get into that later. But so anyway, she's telling Hugh Jackman, she's eating licorice. She tells Hugh Jackman, like, you gotta come with me, Stanley. Don't you miss your daughter, Stanley? The minute she mentions the daughter, Stanley's like, get the fuck out of my house, and pushes her. She falls on her butt. And Stanley calls up his ex-wife. Turns out Stanley spent some time in jail. He's not allowed to touch a computer, which I guess is why he's living in a trailer park with like no electronics seemingly and a dog. But we only see this dog once. I don't know what happened to that dog throughout the movie. But the movie only takes place over 4 days. Whatever. He left the dog at home, I think. Hopefully someone took care of it. Does he have friends? We don't know. None of this is answered. Don't worry about it. The dog's fine. Don't worry about it. But so Hugh Jackman calls up his ex-wife. His ex-wife, oh my God, let's go through the cliches of bad ex in a movie. Male or female, this is what you gotta open up. They're asleep when the phone call comes. They're drunk. They're early in the morning. What a gross drunker in the morning. Disgusting drunk in the morning. They just open pill bottles, laying around. And then it turns out, so she's a porn star, and her husband is the producer who puts her in the movies.
Larry's the porn king of Southern California.
Man, there's so much just general shame tied into, like, again, like we talked about this when we did the Cartoon All-Stars The Rescue, that there's just so much of this movie about like shame involving like drugs and drinking and pornography. Like, for a movie as sexual as this film is, to like really look its nose down at porn, I'm like, okay, Swordfish, you can chill out a little bit. You're not high art right now. You're Swordfish. I know you did your whole Dog Day afternoon speech, but you can chill. So Halle Berry's like, hey, look, come with me. I'll give you $10,000 to just get on the plane, or $100,000. Just get on the plane. If you don't like it, you can leave. Just get $100,000. Just get on the plane. And Hugh Jackman's like, well, I really want to get back my daughter. Okay, so he gets on the plane, goes with her. Sam Shepard, we got Sam Shepard in this movie. He's collecting a paycheck. Good for him. Mostly wearing sunglasses. I think so we could just not watch him roll his eyes. Sam Shepard, one of the best playwrights of the 20th century. But we just don't want to watch him roll his eyes as he has to deliver this dialogue. So he's just going to be like, oh God, son, throughout the whole movie. Wearing sunglasses throughout the whole movie. He's only in 3 scenes. He dies, by the way. He's not in it very long. John Travolta kills him. We'll get into that, though. So we cut back to the FBI office. I don't know if this is supposed to be a commentary on law enforcement, but they make all these jokes about, like, so the guy's Finnish. We find out that this character, the Eurotrash guy, is Finnish. And they just start throwing around these terms where it's like IKEA, and they call him Hamlet. So they just think like Europe. I don't know if this is supposed to be a commentary on like U.S. law enforcement being like that they think all of Europe is just all of Europe, like it's one single thing. Maybe it's a commentary. Generally, I just think it's bad jokes, but maybe it's a commentary. You know what? I'll give credit where it's due. It's a commentary on U.S. law enforcement, because the law in this movie is really bad. I mean, on top of the fact that in the beginning they go full Waco, they kill a hostage. You then also have this thing, and then we meet Don Cheadle's character, like properly meet him, and he he kicks the translator out of the room. He commits so many crimes, like being a cop, that it's just like, what are you doing?
I snapped. I shot a suspect in the hand.
Cops in this movie are so bad. They're so bad at their job, and they're just bad, general bad cops. And then Vinnie Jones shows up with another dude who I've recognized from many movies. And they kill Eurotrash guy. I starts to describe John Travolta to Don Cheadle. He's like, he's a man who lives beyond, your understanding of the world and all this, which would work if like this character was like played by Tilda Swinton or some like, or Kate Blanchett, some like ethereal being, you know what I mean? Someone who you're just like, Grace Jones, like someone you're just like, this is an interesting human being, like very androgynous. David Bowie, very androgynous, very interesting, very, who's this character that can slip between worlds? The law cannot touch. But it's John Travolta with a little goatee, little goatee, long hair, all this Euros, little coffees. He drinks these little tiny little coffees, which again, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a commentary on anything, because like Hugh Jackman also drinks the little coffee, so I don't know. I think it was just like, these are cool right now, let's just do these. This movie's so 2001. It's the most 2001 movie I've ever seen in my life, more so than 2001. So Halle Berry takes Hugh Jackman to a not Matrix, not Blade club. It really feels like the Matrix or Blade, but if they made like a television show on Fox in 1999, this is the club that they would have gotten. Doesn't look great. So he meets John Travolta properly, and John Travolta's like, how good are you, good hacker? Can you hack into the system? How long? I need people say they can do it in 60 minutes. I need someone who can do it in 60 seconds. Hugh Jackman's like, that's impossible. So, you know, he gives him a test. And I guess the test is like, Hugh Jackman is simultaneously going to get a beej. He's going to get a beej on top of Vinnie Jones pointing a gun to his head, and he has 60 seconds to do it. And Hugh Jackman's trying to be like, get this girl off me, and John Travolta's like, nope. So I don't understand the point of this. I guess the test is like, how good are you under pressure?
Get on with it. What the hell is this?
Because again, we see the beginning of this movie where there's a bomb and everything, so we're supposed to understand where it's like, oh, shit's gonna get really real. But it's like, I don't know. And Halle Berry throughout this whole scene is just doing like smiles, like, that's the whole scene. The whole blowjob, gun to the head scene. But Hugh Jackman doing his best. He's got to try and act like he's getting a blowjob this entire scene. So he's like trying to hack and doing these things, and he's also going like, oh. 60 seconds as Vinnie Jones pulls the trigger. Turns out it was a bit. It was all a bit. What a bit. But Hugh Jackman did it. He did it. He was able to hack into the system within 60 seconds. I guess he did it with it. So then, like, Vinnie Jones is laughing. John Travolta's laughing. Halle Berry's laughing. The girl who was giving him a blowjob, she's laughing. I guess Hugh Jackman's just dead. Like his dick is just out. But don't worry, he puts it away because we hear an ADR zipper. As he goes to the bathroom, Halle Berry follows him into the bathroom, and he's like, what the fuck is this, that, and the other? And she's like, I'm out of here. She tries to go. She's like, think about your daughter. By the way, pay attention to that. How many times he's like, I'm out of here. And she's like, think about your daughter. And he doesn't leave. It happens so many times. And people start coming in, and then so Halle Berry, to try and distract, like, starts making out with Hugh Jackman, and he's really into it, which, I mean, I can't blame him. He's probably got blue balls so bad right now. Because one of the things that happens is during the beach scene, like, John Travolta's like, yeah, she's good, isn't she? I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, she's good, isn't she?
Again, it's like, I don't know. They probably made that. They must have said, like, we have to do this script after The Matrix came out, because they're like, it's a hacker movie. Gotta do this. There was no blowjobs in the Matrix. The most you got was the girl in the red dress. So then we cut to Vinnie Jones. He's talking to John Travolta. He's like, I don't know if I trust this new guy. I'm worried he's not gonna be able to hang with us. Because I guess Vinnie Jones has the script. Because if you're just going by what happens in the movie, you literally met this man for a minute and you held a gun against his head while he was getting a blowjob. So I don't know how you can determine how much you can trust this man or not, based simply on that, Vinnie Jones. But John Travolta's like, don't worry about it. They get into the car. They go to this party, which is like, whose house is this? What's going on? But before that, Don Cheadle talks to the not lone gunmen who work for the FBI. You know what I'm talking about? After the X-Files, there was all these like these hacker movies that came out where the hackers had to be like glasses and real geekos. They dress like I do, honestly, if I was wearing much thicker glasses, and like always like with the backwards hats and like the t-shirts that are like, I'm a geek. But I work in law enforcement. And so this has that. The guys with the glasses who like, they really know a lot about the filmography of the porn producer.
You know, they have pretty good production now.
On top of like who Hugh Jackman is and all this other stuff. But no one can place who Halle Berry is. Like, who is this? And then they see, you know, John Travolta pop up on the screen. They're like, who's that? We gotta find out who that guy is. So we cut to this party at John Travolta's house, and there's all these, and I'm like, who are all these people? John Travolta, as far as we know, is like a criminal. And like, that's not to say criminals don't have parties at their house. Movies have criminals having parties at their houses all the time. But it's like a club culture party. Who invited them? Because John Travolta is trying to kind of get information to Hugh Jackman and try and be like, here's why I want to hire you. Here's the job we have to do. It's very, very sensitive information, Hugh Jackman. So it's like he has this party filled with people. It feels like it's a party that's on the hills. It's what is happening? So Travolta's like, come with me. And they shows him his gamer setup, which is like 6 screens. And Hugh Jackman's like, oh. Which the funny thing is like, this whole setup is like, all it is 6 screens. It's not like we see Hugh Jackman like looking at the computer going, oh my God, this is an NTX processor. All he has seen is the 6 screens, and he is like, oh. completely blown away by these 6 screens. Unbelievable. He's like, oh my God. So then we get the classic. So why did Halle Berry do this movie? We then get the classic Halle Berry topless scene. So story about this movie. In 2001, me and my friend at the time snuck into this film. It was an R-rated joint. Couldn't see him then. Snuck into this movie. He had a huge crush on Halle Berry. And we came in right before the topless scene. And man, the look on his face when her boobs came out, you'd never seen a man so happy, so satisfied in his life and decisions to come sneak into this movie. I don't even know what we saw before that. 2001? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe Spider-Man? I can't remember. Anyway, so the rumor is that she got $50,000 to do this scene because this topless scene, was it necessary? No. Was it needed? No. Did it advance the plot? No. Did she look great? Yes. Was she eating licorice? Yes. Now that's the rumor, is that she got $50,000. Travolta and her have denied it. But this is the thing, this wasn't like tabloid rumors. This was like on ABC. This was like the news. Remember, this was the news. This was like news. Remember when the news was like a famous person showing their boobs? What a time. 2001, man. This was after 9/11. Was it? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe before. What an innocent time, pre-9/11, 2001. When the biggest news was like, this famous person is putting their boobs in the movie. George? Like, hey, Diane, it's true. She's showing her boobs. And that's not the shit on Halle Berry for doing it. Good for her, man. Show your boobs. She looks great. She looks great. So another story. I was delivering for Postmates back in the day. Delivered to Halle Berry. It's like 2 years ago. She looks great now. Obviously. But this was like, again, I'm a Postmates driver. This is like no makeup. She's not at a party. This is nothing. This is just like Halle Berry at her home. She looks amazing. So good for you. Good for you, Halle Berry. To you, to your body of work. If you didn't take the $50,000 or if you did, there's no shame. Either way. Thank you for doing all the movies you do. Boomerang is great. So Hugh Jackman decides he's going to go see his daughter. And she's like, you should probably get a different outfit. He does. He totally JCPenney's it up. Goes to JCPenney's, I bet. We don't see that scene. But the daughter, no one picks her up from work because her mom, as we have seen in this movie, is a terrible parent because she does pornography. And takes drugs. So the daughter's like trying to call her mom. She doesn't try to call a taxi cab. Hugh Jackman shows up. He's like, let me give you a ride home. She's like, Dad, oh my God. Like this emotional crying scene. And she's like, if anybody knows you can't pick me up, you can go back to jail. He's like, it's worth it for you, baby. And he takes her home and he's like, Hugh Jackman starts to cry. And I'm like, oh, the acting's too good. This acting is too good for this movie. It doesn't deserve this. And as he's talking, an FBI agent sits. So he sends the daughter home. FBI agent comes, sits in his car. Turns around, there's Don Cheadle. He's like, oh shit, I have lived in Los Angeles my whole life. My whole entire life. Near the Hollywood Hills, all this kind of stuff. So Hugh Jackman starts running. He jumps over a hill and starts going down this hill, which is first a dirt, and then it turns into like these giant garbage bags. It's by the beach. I don't know what these are for. I've never seen these in my life. Never. Now, if you live by the beach in Southern California and you could tell me in the comments what these giant garbage bags are, do they exist and what are they for? By all means, I'm like, are they for the rocks or for the homes so the homes don't go into the beach, into the water? I don't understand. But anyway, let me know. So Don Cheadle is like, well, you're breaking your parole? What do you think you're doing? He's like, what are you doing out here? You better tell me. And Hugh Jackman's like, no. And Don Cheadle's like, okay. And he lets him go. So Hugh Jackman comes back. Halle Berry's in her underwear looking fantastic. That's when she's like, I'm a DEA agent, because she's wearing a wire. And Hugh Jackman's like, what the fuck? And then John Travolta steps in before he takes the wire off. John Travolta comes in and he's like, Stanley, come with me. So they go to like a coffee place and then they both get a triple espresso. It's a whole thing. Why you couldn't just jump to the conversation, I don't know. But anyway, they're having a triple espresso, which sounds really good, honestly. But so, and he tells them the whole plan, what Project Swordfish is, and you're going to have to go through this, and it's all this money. Turns out it's $90 billion. He wants them to hack and get $90 billion out of this thing and create a worm and then distribute it through like all these different funds and everything. And Hugh Jackman's like, oh my God. So the next scene is Hugh Jackman then is creating the worm. And man, look, you can't make hacking look cool. You really can't. Like the best you could do is David Fincher's Social Network, which made it look like propulsive. Not necessarily cool, but very propulsive. And that's the best you could do. Hugh Jackman is just like, he's doing his best. He's sliding around on a chair. He's going, yes, yes, no, fuck, oh, Throughout the whole scene, it's just constant. He's dancing and doing all this other stuff and being like, so because he finishes his wine, he goes into the cellar where John Travolta has all his wine. He sees what looks like this like fake dead John Travolta body. What? Oh, shit. Hold on to that. Put a pin in it. And John Travolta comes walking down the hallway and he goes, Stanley, come with me. And he's like, oh, what's going on? Because he thought he saw a dead John Travolta. So John Travolta goes driving. Turns out, though, is like the problem is, so the FBI, because now they were tailing Stanley, they found John Travolta. They put their files. Sam Shepard's like, God damn it, son. You got found, John Travolta. We're done. The mission's over, son. The mission's over. And so John Travolta's like, But so Sam Shepard's like, oh, yes, it is. So Sam Shepard sends some FBI agents to go or maybe not FBI, I don't know, agents of some kind. He's a senator, to go take care of John Travolta. And they try. They try their best. But John Travolta has this massive shootout in the middle of the street. What a crazy 24 hours for Stanley at this point. What a day. What a day. Between blowjob, gun to the head, to massive shootout in the streets. So he gets back and he's like, I'm out of here. And Halle Berry's like, think about your daughter. So he doesn't leave. There's your third one. There's your third. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Think about your daughter. We then cut to Oregon. John Travolta kills Sam Shepard in a beret.
What in the world are you going to do with that?
What a beautiful scene. What a beautiful scene. Artfully done. Artfully done. So Travolta does this whole speech about America, and this is why he's doing it. And blah, 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 blah.
Shut the fuck up!
Counterterrorism and so on and so forth, and the terrorism and the American and patriots and
Shut the fuck up!
So many speeches like this afterwards. After this scene, there's so many of these speeches. And Hugh Jackman's like, I'm getting out of here. And he pulls a plug. And John Travolta's like, look at all my buses. And Hugh Jackman gets out of there. He goes to his ex-wife's house. Ex-wife, porn husband, dead. They're dead. Oh my God. He has Stanley's daughter. How did Stanley get from the porn house to the beginning of the movie? Because we're back at the beginning of the movie. I don't know. It doesn't show you that. Don't worry about it. So Hugh Jackman's like, okay, I'll do the thing, but you got to give me back my daughter. So he hacks. He does his hacker thing. Gets his daughter right before they get to the front door. Turns out Hugh Jackman hacked the hack. And the money's now being distributed through different funds. And John Travolta's like, get him! Stop her! So the daughter gets out, but they grab Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman's like, I'm not going to give you any fucking fuck you, kill me, fuck you. There's so much cussing in this movie. And John Travolta's like, I'll show you. He brings out Halle Berry. And then they hang her. And it has a visual very disturbing and off-putting in your stupid action movie. So Hugh Jackman's like, okay, I'll do it. And he hacks the thing. I'm rushing through this because it's not very good. So he hacks it, rushing through the thing. Gives it. He's like, okay, there's all your money. They bring down Halle Berry, and then John Travolta shoots her anyway. He shoots her right in the chest. And she's stunned by it. Her facial expression is hysterical. So they all get in the bus, and then this bus gets picked up by a helicopter. And then the bus is too heavy. The helicopter doesn't look like it can carry it. The bus, Hugh Jackman, it starts to fall. Vinnie Jones and a hostage fall out, and they explode. It's actually pretty fucking funny. Empty, done. But we're near the end of the movie too. So they fall. Hugh Jackman gets out of the bus. John Travolta gets in a helicopter. Hugh Jackman grabs a rocket launcher. Boom! The helicopter explodes. Oh my God. Is John Travolta dead? No. Don't forget about that fake dead body, everybody. So Hugh Jackman's brought in with Don Cheadle to identify the body. They look at this burnt body of John Travolta and they're like, is this him? And Hugh Jackman's like, yeah. But then Hugh Jackman starts having flashbacks of the movie. Oh, he's only an hour and a half, by the way. I don't know if we needed flashbacks, but here we are. So it starts having flashbacks about the movie, and we're remembering all these scenes. And by the way, throughout this whole movie, like, John Travolta's talking about, like, all these different movies. He brings up Sugarland Express. Oh, because he's an artist.
Shut the fuck up!
He also brings up Houdini. So then we got these flashbacks of like bringing up Houdini and that, oh, it's about deception and put your hand over here, distract everybody and da 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 da. Turns out, and Hugh Jackman's like, son of a bitch. And we cut to Hugh Jackman and his daughter on a road trip. So Hugh Jackman got his daughter, but that's not the end of the movie. No, we then cut to a bank in, I think, Europe somewhere. Because again, this movie doesn't care. Europe is just a blob of stuff. And Halle Berry, she's not dead, comes walking up. And she's like, please distribute all these funds to these different accounts. And then she comes walking up to a boat. And she goes, it's done. And John Travolta turns around with blonde hair. What a look. And goes, smiles, credits. That is truly the end of the movie. There was no post-credits scene. So Hugh Jackman got what he wanted. He got his daughter. And John Travolta and Halle Berry got a bunch of innocent people killed. Caused a lot of destruction in Los Angeles. Prattled on about movies and America. And got away with it. Swordfish. Man, what a movie. There's so much in this film, man. It's an hour and a half, so that's good. That's a positive. Everyone is trying. Here's the problem. This feels like such a post-Tarantino film. That's the biggest thing. This feels like such a post-Tarantino film. Between all the movie quotes and all the things, and John Travolta has to do all these speeches, and the casting of John Travolta alone, but there's all these things where I'm like, I feel like they're trying to do Tarantino, but man, it's not working. And here's the thing, what makes this not work? It doesn't work. It's actually kind of a boring movie. And something like, let's say Face Off, also with Travolta, equally insane. Why does that work? And I think that's because it leans into the insanity. Leans hard. This movie, you can never say what either the screenwriter, the director, or whoever, I mean, I guess I could listen to a commentary, but what they thought they were doing. And it generally feels like that they thought they were really making something here. On top of like shitting kind of on Dog Day Afternoon, and then all these speeches about like America and I'm like, did you think you were making like a modern day Jack Ryan? Modern day for 2001, where it's like you're going to really speak to America, but you're also going to have these Tarantino-esque dialogue sequences. Man, it just doesn't work. I don't know why Halle Berry, her character is in this movie, other than to have a female lead. You have to have a female lead, and it can't just be the ex-wife porn star. But she serves no purpose. Once she gets Hugh Jackman pulled into this, she doesn't really serve a purpose other than, again, like a distraction. Like a look over here. And she looks great doing it. What a film. What a film. Yeah, it feels, it's the most 2001 movie I've ever seen. I guess I gotta go through other 2001 movies, but holy crap. Hugh Jackman, man, like, I love Hugh Jackman. This feels like a movie he would not touch with a 10-foot pole now. There is something to be said about, like, rated R movies. This movie's very rated R. Rated R movies that star big names that cost this much money. They do not make these anymore. You know, this truly is a case of like, they don't make them anymore. Maybe that's a good thing in this case. Is Swordfish, do you have a soft spot for it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, let people know about this video, and join me next week as we see Hugh Jackman, as we continue Hugh Jackman month, take on the classic Universal monsters. That's right, Van Helsing. It's coming your way on Camera Watches Everything. Goodbye.
Shut the fuck up!